my channel and you can think of, we're trying to start off in the few local states like Kentucky. You're going to see us at maybe together with you as well. So the traveling man, I thought I'd let you, and we're going to just explore all over Indiana. So like I said, spread the word. And for people to give comment, pull into the cemetery, and it's a little, if there's anything you want to know here or anything, Hey, this is CJ the Traveling Man. Thought I'd let you know we're going to go into the Bards Graham Kentucky Distillery. Yes, up the hill. We're going to go in there. I want to show you a little bit of something. We're going to sample this out. So like I said, we're going to let you know, and we're also going to taste some of the bourbon while we're in here. So other than that, this is CJ the Traveling Man. Getting ready to head up the hill. So as you can see, we're getting ready to head up the hill, right up there, right up into the distillery.
So this town, Graham, here in Muhlenberg County, they found coal in around 1905, 1910, somewhere in that area, right across the street here. And when they built a coal mine, basically back then, the town would basically grow up around it, because this was wilderness at the time. So when they opened the mines, built all the houses, here come the miners in, well, they started having children as time went on. Next thing you know, they've got young kids just running around everywhere. W.G. Duncan said, you know what, I want this community that basically now bears his name, he wants them to have a good education. So he went in halves with the Kentucky Board of Education and built this facility that you're in right now. The first building they built was in 1925, and that's up on top of the hill. And we'll take a look at that here in a minute through the window. They built that in 1925, quickly realized that wasn't big enough, so in 1930, they built this large building right here next to us. That's another 3-story building, both of them fairly identical in size and pretty huge. As time went on, they continued to expand the facilities. This gymnasium that you're in right now was built in 1955. The wing that goes off the backside of that high school around 1964. So we basically say this is about a 100-year-old facility is where you're at. It was a high school until 1990, then they consolidated the schools here in the county. After that, it was just an elementary school for about 10 or 12 years, and then after that, they shut this thing down completely. All of the old schools like this that were built in the 20s just were sold on the auction block, and there they sat. Because it's hard to figure out what to do with something like this, and the previous owners had the same issue. They didn't quite know what to do with all of it. So then my wife and I came along. The reason we wanted to start a distillery is, if you've heard of Bardstown, Kentucky, that's the bourbon capital of the world. Well, Bardstown was founded by my 4th great grandfather, William. He and his brother David came down from Pennsylvania around 1770s, and in 1780 they founded Bardstown. David went back to Pennsylvania. My grandfather William decided to stay there to raise a family. One of his sons' name was Isaac. He was born in 1797, and he became a minister, and he moved here to Muhlenberg County around 1826. That was almost 200 years ago, and we're still right here. Matter of fact, my wife and I, our house is on top of the foundation of his house. So we have gone nowhere. We're still on the original farm. And we've always laughed about it in the family that with Bardstown being the bourbon capital of the world, and 95% of the world's bourbon is still manufactured in and around Bardstown, we've always laughed because our name is on every bottle of bourbon on the planet, but we've never made a drop of it. So we always thought that was kind of funny. But around 2006, my wife and I visited Maker's Mark, first distillery we'd ever gone to, and we just fell in love with everything about it. And we thought, wow, wouldn't it be neat if we had one of these ourselves one day? So, well, 14 years later, here we are. Didn't take us very long to figure out where we wanted to have our distillery. Our farm is only about 5 miles through the woods. 3 generations of my family graduated from this school. I was here from kindergarten through 6th grade, but then when they consolidated those schools, I had to leave here and go to those. But we've got some deep history with these buildings, so I instantly knew exactly where we wanted to have the distillery. And it's also a great location. It's great facilities, great bones. We're half a mile off the WK. We're about 10 miles from the new I-69 corridor. So we knew that this was a great location. The only problem was, like I mentioned, it had been sitting here for over a decade. It looked like Mayan ruins when we bought it. So we had a lot of work to do. So we've taken about the last 5 years just to stop the bleeding on the buildings, if you will, and to start renovating them so that we can actually start a distillery like we wanted. What you will see if you come back over the next few years is you'll see our main distillery will be in that building next to us. We're doing demolition right now, and that's where we'll have the larger equipment. We'll have the larger stills, and the visitor center and everything will be in that building there. The building up on top of the hill that we'll take a look at here in a second through the window, the original 1925 building, That will be our rick house. So we are gutting it out completely on the inside, leaving a few structural elements that really look neat, like some stairs. But we are building up the ricks, and that's where we'll be storing the barrels. We've got it designed to hold between 6,000 and 7,000 barrels in that building up on top of the hill. And we're really looking forward to getting in there. Right now I'm hiding barrels everywhere I can. This building right here, we're about to go take a look at the distillery we have going right now. But the goal for this building is to be an entertainment venue. It's already a gymnasium, and you'll see in a second why we want to do that with it. Matter of fact, I think my house has more issues with this roof than this place does. So we were really thrilled with how this turned out. So up on the stage here, you can see what we call the beta version of our distillery. So we started operation with this around December, right before Christmas. And those are two identical 60-gallon pot stills. This setup that I have here allows me to create between 1 and 3 barrels of bourbon a week. The goal by December is for me to have some larger equipment on the stage that will let me do between 6 and 9 barrels a week. That'll be a big jump for me, and I like to be able to sleep a little for the first time in months. But those pigeons really did a number in here. It took about 4 to 5 months wearing hazmat suits to sanitize this place. We couldn't even see the floor when we bought it. But when we got down to the floor, we were amazed at what kind of shape it was in. And after all we've done to this floor is sanitize it, and we've mopped it, I think, twice, maybe 3 times. We haven't had anything done to it that you would do for a normal gym floor. So we're thrilled at the shape that it's in. Not only does it provide a really good surface to have it.
I usually drink stuff like
Tasting
Smirnoff.
the bourbon.
A little bit different.
Yeah.
Okay. Trip. This is all part of my adventure. And welcome to the world's largest golf tee visitor. I don't see it. But okay, let's go, guys. We're getting ready to go, get out of the car.